Your daily Spurs news roundup, providing you the latest Tottenham news all in one place in the last 24 hours, and then the second part of the video will be full analysis of every single story where I give my opinions and also get you involved. Stay tuned to the very end, like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you very much for coming back and for all the support recently. Let's get straight into it. First part of the video is your Tottenham headlines, provide you the latest Tottenham news, so keep up to date. Thomas Frank on Christian Romero. Frank said, I would say I've worked with him now closely for more than 5 weeks. I've seen a very, very committed player who's trained very well. The staff have said to me they've never seen him train this well. He's in a very good place. I see a player that will want to lead the team and push the team. Next, Paul O'Keefe reports that AS Monaco central attacking midfielder Magnus Akiludu is understood to be very high up on Tottenham Hotspur's transfer shortlist of targets. Fabrizio Romano reports that Eberechi Eze has informed Crystal Palace earlier this week about his desire to join Tottenham this window. Talks are progressing as Eze already said yes to the Spurs project and is ready to make his move this month. Nothing is done yet, but Eze hopes for a Tottenham move as soon as possible. Sasha Tavioli reports that Eberechi Eze has now agreed personal terms with Tottenham. Eze wants to leave and is expected to be left out of the matchday squad for Crystal Palace's game against Chelsea on Sunday. Next, a report from Sun Football states that Tottenham Hotspur transfer target Eberechi Eze is not expected to play in Crystal Palace's Premier League opening game against Chelsea on Sunday. A move to take Eze to Spurs is understood to be looking very close. Gimme Sport report the club sources on both sides deny Spurs' latest offer for Manchester City winger Savinho was as high as €70 million. Talks are ongoing though, and one formal bid of close to €50 million has already been rejected. Next, Fabrizio Romano on YouTube said Eberechi Eze could be out of the Crystal Palace squad this weekend because he's made it clear that he wants to move to Tottenham. No issue with personal terms. Conversations continue between the two clubs. Spurs want both Savinho and Eberechi Eze, not one or the other, it's both. The story for Eze is getting concrete. Keep a close eye. The words of Fabrizio Romano. Savinho on Instagram posted a picture of him in his gym after Pep Guardiola said he's injured and not available for the Wolves game today. Fabrizio Romano says that Tottenham remain in active talks with Savinho as a top target in a separate deal from Eberechi Eze. Daniel Levy is back at the Thompson Stadium for his trip in the USA. He was pictured at his Tottenham's opening game against Burnley. Tottenham did beat Burnley in the Premier League in their first game, claiming maximum points. It was a 3-0 victory against the newly promoted side. 2 goals. So a brace from Richarlison, a goal from Brennan Johnson as well. Next, the report from the Guardian Sport states the negotiations between Tottenham and Crystal Palace for Eberechi Eze has intensified quickly recently. David Alstein reports that Crystal Palace have made an approach to Leicester to explore a move for Moroccan attacking midfielder Baal El Kanous. He's among their targets if/when Eberechi Eze leaves, so that's the Eze replacement sorted. Tottenham registered a clean sheet in the Premier League for the first time today since winning 1-0 against Manchester United on February the 16th, the 3-0 win against Burnley meant a clean sheet kept for Tottenham, the first one since 16th of Feb. Mohamed Kudus registered 5 chances and created 2 assists on his Tottenham home debut. Fabrizio Romano says that the agreement between Eberechi Eze and Spurs on personal terms is done since the beginning of the week. He wants the move as Tottenham and Crystal Palace are in direct talks over a fee, and Tottenham are confident to make it happen, but work is still needed. Next, a report from The Times states that Spurs believe that Eze will cost about £55 million, the amount they paid for Mohamed Kudus. They want Eze in addition to Savinho, and Savinho is valued by Manchester City at £67 million. Eze is a doubt to start for Chelsea on Sunday after Tottenham's firm interest. Quick line watch here. 18-year-old Mikey Moore registered an assist on his Rangers debut on loan. A great start to life in Scotland for the Tottenham loanee. He got the assist for their first goal. Thomas Frank was asked on whether Tottenham were close to making any new signings. He said, Daniel, Johan and Vinay are working very hard. If we can, we'd like to improve the squad, but we want players that we think can improve us. Thomas Frank on Richarlison. Frank said, fantastic he is scoring. The first one is definitely easier to score without being easy, but I have a striker that takes those 2 chances and helps us win the game. He deserves a lot of praise. Next, a report from the BBC states that Tottenham are to accelerate a move for Crystal Palace forward Eberechi Eze within the next 48 hours. Positive developments and deal within reach, but there is still work to be done. Eze's inclusion versus Chelsea is now in doubt. Thomas Frank said on News Basuma that unfortunately he got injured in training yesterday. We need to look into how much it is. Fabrizio Romano reports that Richarlison rejected several approaches to leave Tottenham this summer. Happy 36th birthday to former Tottenham midfielder Moussa Sissoko. Is his birthday today. Next, a report from the Daily Mail states that Tottenham Hotspur are understood to be interested in signing Aston Villa attacking midfielder Morgan Rogers. Last campaign, Rogers scored 8 goals and provided 11 assists in 37 Premier League games, while he added another 6 goals and 5 assists in both the Champions League and the FA Cup combined. Next, a report from the Daily Mail states that Tottenham Hotspur are understood to be ready in another bid for Manchester City's Savinho, with City expecting somewhere closer to the region of €80 million for the player. Savinho is intent on leaving the club. He's keen on a move to Tottenham. Tottenham have lost just twice on the open day of the Premier League season since 2012. What's we got? The Independent report the Spurs are close to agreeing a deal for Eze, a £55 million deal plus add-ons. Next, the report from the Times states that Tottenham believe Eze will cost about £55 million. Some stats for you on players. Richarlison versus Burnley, played 71 minutes, got 2 goals, had 5 shots, 3 shots on target, and 2 out of 2 dribbles completed were successful. Quick another lone watch. Alfie Devine versus Leicester, played 73 minutes. Preston, he got 1 goal, had 2 tackles, 2 out of 3 ground duels won were successful, and 20 out of 26 passes completed were successful. The Independent reports that negotiations over a deal for Eberechi Eze have all of a sudden tonight become difficult. The Daily Mail report that AS Roma have approached Tottenham through intermediaries about signing Yves Bissouma. Spurs want close to £20 million for midfielder who has 1 year remaining only on his current contract. Tottenham recorded just 1 win at home against the promoted sides during the 24-25 Premier League season. They have matched such feat on the opening weekend of the 25-26 campaign. Mohamed Kudus and stats versus Burnley got 2 assists, 5 chances created, 2 out of 3 dribbles were successful, 3 out of 4 long balls were accurate, 3 ball recoveries, 5 out of 7 ground duels won were successful, 2 fouls won, 0 fouls committed. Thomas Frank said, "What I have learned is that because of how the season turned out last season, for various reasons, both the challenges and the successes at the end, there is a big togetherness. They are tight, they are together. That's a foundation for more success, and I think there's also a willingness to improve." Mohamed Kudus spoke about his Spurs debut, so I'm happy about the beginning, but it's a long, long marathon to go. Next, PA Sport report that Eberechi Eze is closing in on a move to Tottenham. It's understood that he's reached an agreement with Crystal Palace to not feature versus Chelsea on Sunday. Thomas Frank spoke about how his young midfield fared against Burnley. Frank said, "I'm very happy. Pape have so much praise, so I will not say so much about him today. I will give the praise a little bit to others. Archie Gray did well. I think fine first half, really grew into it second half, and as a reminder to myself and everyone else, young players take a little bit of time. It can't be, we put them out there and suddenly they are exceptional. That demands incredible talents. Normally very, very, very good talents, which I think Archie is and Bergbo is. That demands some time, so happy with his performance. Lucas overall was very, very good. Top action from both players." Thomas Frank spoke about Richarlison, saying, "Fantastic he is scoring. The first one is definitely easier to score without being easy, but I have a striker that takes those 2 chances and helps us win the game. He deserves a lot of praise. He's very good against PSG, and today he was exceptional with his work rate, driving the team, link up play, hold up play, just dominating, and then the 2 finishes. So happy on his behalf, and again, performance department, medical department did a top job to build him. I think a few of you know he was not involved in the first friendly because we had to build him. That will be continuous and something we need to look at throughout the season." Thomas Frank on the Burnley win. Frank said, "Perfect start or dream start. We all know we need to follow up on it. Today I'll just enjoy it, and I hope the players, the club and the fans enjoy it because that is important." Romero took to Instagram to say how beautiful to start in this beautiful way. Great game by all. This is very long, but this is the right way. All together always at Spurs Official. Next, Thomas Frank spoke about Richarlison a little bit more. He went to say it's fair to say he hasn't played in every game in the past 3 or 4 years, so we need to be smart with him. There are various ways it could be: come off in games after a certain amount of time, or come off the bench, or to play 5 games in a row. Pat Mattis asked some stats for you in his game against Burnley. He got 1 assist, 43 out of 52 passes were accurate, 1 chance created, 3 out of 5 dribbles were successful, 6 passes into the final third, 3 clearances, 2 headed clearances, 4 ball recoveries, 6 out of 10 ground duels were won, 4 out of 5 aerial duels were won, 1 foul won, and 0 fouls committed. Some stats of Lucas Bergvall versus Burnley: 19 out of the 22 passes attempted were completed successfully. 2 out of 2 successful dribbles, 3 passes into the final third, 2 out of 2 tackles won, 1 clearance, 1 head clearance 2, 1 ball recovery, and 4 out of 6 ground duels won. Next, the report from The Guardian states that Tottenham are closing in on completing the signing of Eberechi Eze, and Give Me Sport report that Eberechi Eze has since informed some England teammates that he expects the move to Spurs to happen this summer. So those are your headlines. Some of it is a lot of very similar stuff like with Eze, so we might just go through and generalise. But let's go through it for now. Where are we going to start with? So interested in Frank speaking about Romero and how he's training. It seems that Romero is in a really good place, is what Frank is saying, and which is really good because there's times where maybe Romero hasn't been under previous managers when the team struggled, and this is a player that I was really worried was going to leave and we struggled to replace. So credit to Frank for managing to convince him to stay, and credit to Cuti Romero for giving Frank a chance and just being more patient. It's easy, when a manager you like is sacked, and it's easy to just go, it's not going to work out. So real credit to Romero and the attitude he's shown. And you can see it on the pitch, even like against Burnley, against PSG, he throws himself into tackles, but in a really good way in terms of he's totally measured and controlled, unlike maybe previously. So you can definitely tell he really wants this, and it means a lot. Paul O'Keefe's saying that we're targeting AS Monaco's attacking midfielder Magnus Akilulu. I don't understand a lot of him. It's obviously good to have targets, but it'll be something to be shut down if we do sign Eze. Fabrizio Romano, the first report on Eze, saying that Eze's informed Palace about his desire to join Tottenham. Talks progressing, or he said yes, nothing done, but Eze hopes for a Tottenham move. So it's all about kind of what we know, but also just saying that Eze wants this move. He's already spoke to Palace, so that's a big part of it for a player. When they're badgering kind of the club to make him leave. So I do have a possibility it could be done. The journalist Sasha Tavioli is going even further to say Eberechi has agreed personal terms completely with Tottenham and will be left out of the matchday squad for Palace on Sunday. A lot of sources are saying that. It'll be really interesting to see. I reckon he will be left out on Sunday, but time will tell. Lots of sources saying that it's not expected to play, and the deal's now really close. Give Me Sports saying that both sources, in terms of from a Spurs point of view and a City point of view, denying that the second offer was as high as 70 million euros after a first bid of 50 million euros was rejected. It suggests to me that it's probably 60 million euros that they went for. It looks like City may want like 80 million euros. Fabrizio Romano, interesting what you're saying about no issue with personal terms. Conversation continues. Spurs want both, and he's saying the interesting bit is the last bit when he said the story for Eze is getting concrete. Keep a close eye. So I think this is something that really happened, and make no mistake about it. It's a difference between an okay window and a great window. Eberechi Eze makes that big of a difference. Savinho, is he really injured? Is the question. He said that Ederson's ill. I don't want to speculate. I don't know how much. We posted a picture of the gym pretty soon after. It could be continuing recovery in the gym, but maybe a little hint. It was very quick after. I'll leave you back in the USA, hopefully making some important phone calls about transfers in the game. Well, don't want to get involved in the football side of things, to be fair. Having said that, what else we got? A lot of sources saying that talks between Tottenham and Palace for Eze have intensified. David Olsen saying that Palace are already going out for a replacement. Biowell Canoes, that'd be a really smart deal, by the way, for Crystal Palace, because he has a relegation release clause, which isn't a lot. Of course, he isn't Eberechi Eze, but Palace, let's say, I don't know, they get 55 million for Eze, and they'll be paying 20-25 million for El Canoes. Relegation release clause is somewhere around that £25 million mark, if I remember correctly. So Palace make a quite healthy profit on Eze, and they sit comfortably with more money in their back pocket. But El Canoes isn't Eze, however, can soften the blow from losing Eze. So that's really good news for Tottenham if they can get it over the line, because it means they can allow more wiggle room to let Eze leave. That's the problem. Will Palace do that or not? Because Steve Parish is a very tough negotiator from everything you hear. It doesn't surprise me, and it won't surprise many Tottenham fans. It will surprise other Premier League fans maybe, but everyone knows that we struggle to keep clean sheets. It's a long while though. February the 16th in the Premier League. Before this game against Burnley, we had to go back to our last clean sheet. It's an awfully long time. Kuda's absolutely bossing it on his debut. What a player, clearly good for the international stage. Left to right at West Ham, I'll tell you. On that left hand side, so much better as a right winger, already a key player, and pulled West Ham's pants down for £55 million. Let me absolutely tell you that now. Fabrizio Romano said a more update on Eze, and that is he's saying personal terms have been done. Eze wants to move, direct talks, Tottenham confident to make it done. So very, very much the same thing, just reinstating the Tottenham confidence is going to happen. But I'm interested in the report from the Times saying that Spurs think Eze £55 million, it will take them, and City value Savinho at 67 million. For me, I just think pay a little bit more than what Tottenham think it's going to take to get Eze done, because A, Paris is a tough negotiator, and B, we just want him in as soon as possible, because even watching us against Burnley today, we were good, don't get me wrong, but we lack creativity at times. It's better, opposition, you're punished because you don't get the creativity. It means you don't have the ball as much because you don't create as much. You lose the ball and it puts pressure straight back on your defence. Great start to life over in Scotland and for Rangers for Mikey Moore. Literally the first goal involved him. Doesn't too much for the assist, but lays it off nicely. It's all about the goal, though, to be totally honest with you, but nonetheless happy he gets an assist. Frank giving nothing away apart from saying that he'd like to improve the squad, or we'd like to improve the squad, but only players would think we can improve that. It's been a consistent message from him. Speaks really well about Richarlison. He's like, the first one's easy to score without being easy, but no, he's very thankful for Richarlison, and spoke still very well. I'll also say that a lot of positive developments with Eze expect to be done in the last 48 hours. Typical Basuma, looks like he's got injured in training. Frank is what he's saying, and needs to look into it, so hopefully he's not out for too long, because whether we keep Basuma or not at the moment is plenty of cover is the way I see it. But Archie Gray proof against Burnley, he can do a job there. I think we need more options though. From Bristol Minor confirming what we already kind of anticipated, and that is Richarlison rejected several approaches to leave Tottenham this summer. I mean, his aim, isn't it? His goal and his dream has always been World Cup with Brazil. I mean, tell you what, against Burnley, he played like a Brazilian number 9, especially that second goal, that overhead kind of volley. But there's no surprise there, because you go to Saudi, which would be best for Tottenham. If they wanted to sell him, Saudi would be best for Tottenham because they get the most from there. We could probably, in my opinion, get 35-40 million somehow from Saudi. I think Saudi aren't giving up as much money as they did maybe like a year ago, because they've established the league a bit more, but they're still paying a lot for players. But at the same time, Richarlison's not going to get the profile he wants, or the coverage, like the kind of media coverage that he wants to be able to play for the World Cup. He's got to keep it at top level, and the Premier League is that top level, and he's happy at Tottenham. Sissoko, what a strange signing that was. A last minute signing, massively overpaid for him, but we got some use out of him as a midfielder, and it was quite a fun signing at times to watch. Interesting, but give me sport with Morgan Rogers would be a very good signing, but I can see that again if Eze or anything like that happens, or we completely shut down. I think we shut down anyway. If Villa let Jacob Ramsey go, surely they can't let Morgan Rogers leave as well, so no. And it's a bit of a nothing story. Good player would be nice. Can't see it happening though. Wow, Man City expecting something about 80 million euros. What would Tottenham do? Probably around 70 million euros, I would have thought. Really good stat that is on the opening day of the Premier League season, that we've only lost twice since 2012. That's an awfully long time. It's pretty impressive. So that's a record long standing of about 16 years or so, if not more, 17 years. Interesting for the Independent. They say the Spurs are close to agreeing a deal for Eze at £55 million plus add-ons. There's a school scare later saying that the deal could now become more complicated. They're saying this is things that could be fixed. It's only because maybe Palace don't want to let him go, so there's only too much to worry about. Yeah, we've got all the stats about the players doing well. Devine did very well, scoring again for Preston against Leicester, so glad to see him doing well. Yeah, the Independent just say it's become more difficult this evening, but can be fixed. Basuma, I mean, £20 million, we can get that. He's only got 1 year remaining. I think that would be sense. We don't want him to leave on a free. It'd just be a disaster. £20 million, I think I'd take that. But I'd rather have Basuma than no Basuma. If we get, we sign someone else or we're getting cover, it's different. But we keep Basuma for me unless we can get a replacement. That's what I would like us to do anyway. Only one win against the Parade size last Premier League season. That's pretty much awful. I mean, who was it? It wasn't Leicester, because we lost to Leicester, we lost to Ipswich. It must have been Sheffield United. Yeah, it was that we beat. Obviously, got Frank speaking about togetherness. That doesn't surprise me again. Winning that Europa League, and Sonny kind of gathered that. It's all great to start on the leadership team. You kept that kind of belief. Kudus is right. Really good what we've seen from him, but it's a long marathon. What we got as several sources saying the same thing. Frank really praised the midfield a lot. Didn't praise Sarr because he says he had a lot of praise for Sarr anyway. So I think Sarr's kind of leading his way in his preferred midfielders. Frank speaks well about Richarlison. We did touch on that, and he does go a bit more detail. Romero, lovely message via Instagram, and I think togetherness is going to be a big theme of Tottenham this year again. Guti Romero as the captain. I like that Frank will look after Richarlison, will nurse Richarlison. He shouldn't play every game. It's frustrating when he comes off when he's doing well, but you've got to look at the bigger picture for us Spurs fans. So I'm like, oh no, against Burnley he's doing well, he's on a hat-trick. But if he gets injured and is out for a few months, we'd be like, oh Frank, why didn't you take him off? So that's the problem. Give me sport. With Ben Jacobs writing the report going as far as saying that Eze's already spoke to some of his England teammates to say he expects to move to Spurs. I mean, that's quite bold. So, a good day for Spurs fans to kick off the Premier League campaign with a win against newly promoted side Burnley, keep a clean sheet, be in the top three in the League Two if you look at it this early in the stages, deal progressing nicely as well with Eberechi Eze, but that is your daily Spurs news roundup, providing you with the latest Tottenham news in the last 24 hours, and that is my full analysis on every single story pretty much. Thank you very much for watching. Get involved in the comments below on any of the stories you heard in the comments below, how you feel about them, anything that I said as well, you agree with, you disagree with, you want me to debate, discuss with you, and I always check the comments and answer them. But thank you very much, and for now, a massive come on you Spurs.